You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Just remember this number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. You know, I just looked over the list, and we've got some interesting items to celebrate. One of my favorites here, though, used to be, not as much anymore. Not that just because it doesn't affect me as much. National Aviation Maintenance Technician Day. Now, I used to travel 30 weeks a year for business. 30 weeks a year. I know, I was young then. 30 weeks is a long time to be out there doing business. But I just saw this. Somebody shared this on social media just this last weekend. And they made a comment that they were so upset that they found a problem with the equipment on when they're getting ready to take off, and they were stuck on the tarmac. And I said, well, look at the bright side. What's the bright side? Well, would you rather them find a technical problem on the plane when you're on the tarmac or when you're at 30,000 feet in the air? Personally, I liked it when they found it on the ground. Just throwing that out there. They come up and they tell you that you've got equipment problems when you're in the air, and we're going to make a unscheduled landing. You know what that means? Translating, get me a new pair of shorts, because that's not exciting to me. So aviation maintenance workers, yeah, I like those guys and gals. Let's see what else. I don't have a brother, so that one doesn't affect me. Escargot Day. Do you like escargot? There's a lot of people that love it. There's a lot of people that hate it. I like it. You know, how can you go wrong? You got a little piece of meat in there and lots of garlic and butter. What else could you ask for? Well, I have had them one time. One time I was in Vegas, and one of the restaurants had a blue cheese escargot. So you take the garlic and the butter and throw a little blue cheese crumbles in there. Delicious. I'm just throwing that out there for you. And we've also got Yucatan Shrimp Day. I guess I better do a radio show here, otherwise we'll get in trouble. Let's see. We got the Dow Jones Industrial Average recovering a bit, down 251 points. NASDAQ is recovering a bit, down 310. S&P 500 down 64. Oil flat, down 35 cents per barrel. 10-year Treasury, we haven't been talking about that in our opening segments very much lately, 274. So that's down 11 basis points. That's some good news for the market. If you are thinking about buying, selling, or borrowing on real estate, that's some good news. We're going to get into in today's broadcast. I'm going to give you some insight based on history and based on some of the most current data out. I'm going to give you some insight on what the real estate markets might be doing. And I'm going to share something with you that there's a few of our friends, Josh, that are not going to be too happy with. But guess where the largest amount of price reductions are in the marketplace right now? Idaho, Arizona, Utah, and drum roll, please. I've got the drum roll on here. Where's the fourth? Nevada. Yeah, and what does that mean to the market? So we're going to talk about where these are coming because I've got the stats here. We shared them on some of our socials. Price reductions, though, they were up dramatically over the prior weeks. So peak last May was 15.8% price reductions. And you're going to have to tune in and I'm going to tell you where we're at right now. So significant numbers. What does that tell us about the future? What does the inventory amount tell us about the future? I'm going to tell you what you can learn about the present. Well, if you're thinking about that, as I share with you all the time, buying, selling, or borrowing on real estate, you're going to want to go and grab these two books before they're gone. This will be the last week that we're going to have them. The Home Buyer's Guide, RSRHBG.com, RSRHBG.com. And Seller's Guide, RSRHSG.com, RSRHSG.com. Why do I recommend you get those? Well, they're giving you an idea of what's going on in the marketplace. It's always current because we've come out with a new book or new two books every quarter. So we've got the new ones coming out. I think June 3rd is the date that those are going to be released. We'll put those up there. But you're going to want to get a hold of these before they're gone. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or borrowing on real estate, what is the interest rates? Do we have to worry about a recession? Because it is coming. Now, maybe we're not in it. I know that some of the folks are thinking that being that we had our first quarter of negative GDP, we already got that one last quarter. Are we in it? Because we won't know. Second quarter obviously doesn't end until June 30th. So projections are that we're going to have about a 1% growth for the second quarter. That would mean that we're not in the recession right now, technically. But does it feel that way? I know that if you were listening to the president and his team yesterday, they said that everything in the economy is going great. Does it feel that way to you? Right? Does it feel great that what you're paying for gasoline? Does that feel great to you? Does it feel great that we have no food? That we've got a short first time in history, no one's talking about this, that there were humanitarian aid shipments to the United States. Never happened before. We never needed to get help from other people in order to keep our world going. First time ever that we had to get food for the babies. And what did they get that's going to save the kids? A 1-week supply of baby food. And that was only for a small portion of the country. Why is it only a small portion of the country? Well, because it's only a baby food for those that have allergies. So they're going to get a week's worth of food. No one else gets food, just the little ones. So we're gonna watch and see how that's doing really, really well for our economy, how that benefits so many people. Personal savings, average drop in 2022, down 15%, $11,000 in lost savings this year. Sounds like a great economy, but I'm going to talk to you about real estate, where the real estate market is going. We're going to get into that. I'm going to give you a real in-depth, maybe 5-6 minutes. I'm going to show you where the numbers are and what do those numbers mean going forward. How do you use those? Data for data's sake is worthless. If you can use the data for something, then there may be benefit, and we're going to share with you how to use the data. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial. Okay. Who is it? We gotta look at this one before we go, Josh. I gotta slow down here, Josh. Go StreamYard.com/Facebook. StreamYard.com/Facebook. We gotta find out who's the joker that's talking about escargot this morning. Yes, it probably sounds like something that I accidentally stepped on a snail today. So you don't like the escargot. After you step on it, they're probably not as good to cook, but I'm just throwing that out there. Again, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Sellers have an opportunity as home prices re-accelerate. Okay. And we're going to chat about where this market is going. We got a mortgage minute, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. And I'm going to suggest right now is a great time to make that call as a liability advisor. I'm telling you, you need to be looking at what's going on in the markets right now. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback in interest rates. That's good news. And if you're thinking about consolidating your debt, what is your effective interest rate? That's going to be an interesting number for you to know. What is that effective interest rate? How do you get the effective rate? Okay, we're going to talk about that in the days and weeks to come, but let's take a look at what's going on in the markets right now. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, I should say, down 66. 10-year Treasuries down 11 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, they are up 42 basis points. That is some good news, finally. According to OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Their number as of May 23rd. The 30-year conforming loan, 5.431. 30-year jumbo, 4.953. 30-year FHA loan, 5.331. The best loan on the market for our veterans. Thank you for your service. 5.062 is the 30-year VA loan. USDA, 5.247. 15-year conforming. Why are you getting that one? 4.464. That's where the loan's locked at. The real question now becomes, why are they locking at those prices? And again, that's 35% of the market. That's the average locked rate yesterday, regardless of what you hear on the news or regardless of what you hear anywhere else. Why is it happening? Well, weak earnings from several companies. Snapchat. Josh, does anybody use Snapchat anymore? I mean, is it big? Okay. So I thought that that people moved away from Snapchat. Apparently, it's still a big player out in the marketplace. They came out and they said that they're not getting as much advertising revenue. They cited the deteriorated macro landscape and recession as the reason they expect softer numbers in the second quarter, weighing heavily on stocks. Global manufacturing slowdown after weak readings from the New York Manufacturing Index and the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. The Richmond Fed Reserve dropped from 17 in April to 14 in May, which was significantly lower than expectations. Fed is going to increase interest rates by 50 basis points on June 15th. That's a half a point there, half a percent. Think about that concept right there. That will affect some credit cards. Almost all home equity lines of credit will be affected by that. Mortgage rates, maybe not. We've seen that speculating whether the Fed would have the resolve to keep hyping with deteriorating economic conditions. And it appears we're not the only ones. The Atlanta Fed President, Raphael Bostic, said that a pause in September may make sense and 50 basis point hikes in June and July based on economic conditions. We're going to hear from the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, a little after, well, probably right about now is when he's probably speaking. So we're going to give you any information we hear from that one. Housing news, no new home sales, which measures signed contracts on new homes, down 17%. Ooh. Ow! Yeah, that's a big number. That's the April number to 591,000 annualized pace, which was in line with expectations. The report actually weaker than it appears, as there was a negative revision to the previous month. When factoring that in, sales are down 22% from the initially reported number. Year-over-year sales, they're down 27%. Why the big decline? Well, obviously, higher rates, home prices are having an impact, but uncertainty is as well. It normally takes 6 months to build a new home, but today it's much longer and there's little certainty on completion times. People rarely make moving plans years in advance with rates moving higher and fears of a recession. Many are not comfortable purchasing a new home that is not completed and does not have a solid finish date. To the point, there were 444,000 homes for sale at the end of April. Only 38,000, or 6%, are completed. 6% of them completed. The rest are either not started or under construction. Median home price, we're going to talk about that in depth in a minute. 450,600, which is up 20% year over year, points to an increase in higher priced homes sold. The average price home came in at 570. We'll give you more information on that. But we do have a chart here. We'll grab this chart from our report here, and we'll see if we can get this shared on our social channels a little bit later in the day today. So that's just a little bit, and it'll give you good information on where these new home sales are coming. Mortgage bonds are breaking out to the upside. That is good news. When they break out going on the upside, the bond up, that tells us interest rates are dropping, and that is really good news right now. We're excited about seeing that. Not that we like the idea of the economy faltering, but if the bond is going up, which means the yield or the rate is going down, that pretty much tells us that the bond market thinks that the Federal Reserve may be getting a handle on inflation, and maybe if they don't overdo it, and I think I just shared with you as Mr. Bostic says, right? The idea here is do a 50 basis point. They already did one, do another one. It takes about 9 months for this to get through the market. So you don't get the feeling, the effect of this right away. We want to let that settle through, let it go through, let them figure out what's going on with that. And it'll be very, very helpful going forward. Now, those of you that are out there looking at buying property, or you've got a bid in for new construction, and I'm telling you that there's such a small percentage of that is completed, and they really don't even know when they're going to complete because of the supply chain issues. Only 6% of the properties out there really completed. What do? Well, I'm going to share with you what we suggest, because quite honestly, I don't do real estate. I do a radio show in the morning. I lead a lending team all the time. And I was on a call last week with a gentleman, and we're looking up. We went to rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com, and we shared, or we put in there, I want to know I put in Anaheim Hills to start with. And I said, are there any homes in Anaheim Hills for sale, single family, condo, or townhome, under $700,000? And I expanded it, so I did Anaheim Hills and the surrounding areas. And I think we came up with 36 properties that were under $700,000. Why do I share that? It's because I'm not out there looking at properties all the time. I know there are people that are listening to us right now that they do that all the time, and they understand. They can tell you off the top of their head how many properties are for sale in any given area at any given time. That's not me. I don't do that part of it. So I went on the RSR Home Scout and I just put in there that I wanted to know properties that were in that price range. So I just put in there, and you can do this for any range you want. So I put in there that I wanted to know under $700,000. Well, what am I? And I didn't know. Am I going to find anything? Is there anything in Anaheim Hills or the surrounding areas under $700,000? And I went in there. I made sure that I changed the parameters. I didn't want any farms. I didn't want manufactured. I didn't want lots. I didn't want anything else. And I came up in Anaheim Hills and the surrounding areas. There are 27 properties that are at $700,000 or less. Places that you can actually sleep in, right? Because farm is not going to find a whole lot there, or raw land doesn't help us a lot. 700. There's quite a few properties that are available. 27 of them. Well, if you want a search like that, again, all you have to do is go to rsrhomescout.com. You can get that customized. If you decide you want to save your search, you're then going to get a update anytime there's new activity. If there's a new property comes online, it'll just send you an email if you so desire, a text message if you so desire. You can change it and say, I only want the ones with 17 bedrooms or more. I don't know if you're going to have that many, but right, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, whatever your minimums are. You put your own unique, personalized information in, and it's going to get you all that information. So I'm going to just throw that out there. Again, rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. You can get that great information right there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, are real estate prices flattening? Do we have an indicator to tell us that? We'll talk about it. Sellers have an opportunity as home prices reaccelerate. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'm going to share with you that in order to put on a radio broadcast every day, we're on 6 days a week right now, that you have to get a lot of really good market or information sources. And every Monday, we get a whole set of new reports. And if you want them for your zip code, just let me know, because we can put up a report for any zip code in the U.S. And it gives some great information. But on Mondays, we get a big overall look, because it's important to understand what the national picture is of real estate. But I don't know anybody that's selling houses nationally, right? Black Knight, yeah, they do it. But your house is in, I don't know, Yorba Linda, California, San Bernardino, California, Palm Desert, wherever that might be. Orange, California, that might be another one where we might see a house that's in this marketplace. Alex is with us. Okay, so maybe we're looking at, Montana or Wyoming or something along those lines. I know that's the world there. So you may want to know, what is real estate doing in those areas? Well, we've got that data for you from this source. But every week I get a new set of reports to give me ideas on what's happening in the marketplace today. So got this report late yesterday. Total home inventory grew by 8.2% last week. We've got some charts if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. Total inventory of homes for sale, U.S. single-family homes. This doesn't account for condos, townhomes, all that. PUDs are in here. But that grew 8.2% last week. It's an increase of 26,000 over the prior week. 344,389 homes for sale. We now have 6% more homes available for sale than last year. Historically, inventory peaks in the third week of May. Where are we now? Oh, yeah, the third week of May as we broadcast this right now. Inventory in the past year-over-year inventory changes predict price changes 1 year out. So if you look at that, 344,000. Actually, if you go back to 2018, you can actually see on the chart that when we get an inventory spike, like we're seeing right now, okay, so we're up 8.2%. Doesn't tell us about what's going to happen to pricing today. It's giving us an indication of what's going to happen with pricing in May of 2023. And generally, when it goes up like this, we can usually see that we might see it start turning or flattening at that point in time. Now, if you look at the next chart, immediate sales tells us about bidding wars, pent-up demand. And you can see here, you've got, if you're looking at the chart, if you're listening to us on radio, go back to RonSiegelRadio.com in the radio archives, and you'll be able to see the video of this presentation. And it tells us that immediate sales tell us about bidding wars, pent-up demand. The percentage of immediate sales is declining slightly, 24% this week. But that's still a very, very strong number. And you can see that in the light portions. You've got all the sales, all of the sales are in the full bar all the way from top to bottom. The declining portion up near the very top, the lighter part, tells us declining 24% of immediate sales, 26,598. This week, more new listings, 84,383 did not sell immediately. So that's telling us that those bidding wars, while there still may be some of them, there are not as many of them as there had been. So take a look at that. Next chart tells us about home prices. Now, according to this source, the $443,000 is the median home price, 11% above last year. But find this fascinating. The new listings came in at 429,900. This would normally have ticked down by now, but it did not. So pricing, that's telling us pricing is still strong. So median home price, single family, up 11% above last year. Again, normally that would have ticked down a little bit. So we're still seeing strong numbers in the new listings. And the big chart is the very last one that I'm going to share. And this one tells us the percentage of properties with price reductions. So peak frenzy last May, 15.8%. Right now, we're a third higher than that. 21.7% had price reductions. Now, recently what's been happening is we've been seeing people say, okay, I'm going to put the property up at a price and I'm expecting that will be the floor. Well, if the property does not sell, if they really need to buy something, well, they might have to start reducing price. There's a lot of people that decided, okay, properties are selling really, really quick. I'm not going to worry about my selling of my property. I'm going to go find one first. Those that can, they might go find something first, and they're not the ones that are worried about their departing property. Well, the chart right now, or the numbers from this last week, are saying, well, 1 out of 5 are saying they had to reduce the price. It wasn't actually the floor. They actually listed at a price they could not get. Now, I'm going to share with you that we do have a tool that we're going to release. In fact, Josh just finished building the charts for me to go in and record on that are going to show you how you may be able to help a buyer pay the price you want and get the payment lower that they want or need. You know, Ron, how does that work? Interest rates are up. How can I go with a high price and get a low payment? But if you know how to do it, if you know what you're doing here, that's one of the things we're going to show you. We've got this chart out. It does have that information. We're gonna grab that for you. We'll educate you on how that can work. So you'll have to watch our social channels. I don't know if I'll get that onto a radio broadcast, but we're going to show you how you can actually get I'm going to call it a seller's unfair advantage. The area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio understand this. We share this with them before we go public with it. So you're going to have to give us a call. Get 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch with one of the partners that understand how to do this seller's unfair advantage. Why do I call it an unfair advantage? Well, I don't know too many people here's the idea. What does a seller want when they're selling their home, their asset? They want the highest price they can possibly get. But is the buyer writing a check for the whole thing? I know probably 25% of our investors, and they're writing a check. But for the most part, no, the buyers are not the one. They're not going to write a check for the whole thing. What they need to do is they've got to go in there and they've got to be able to afford the property. Now, I've told you many times, as a liability advisor, I have to look at what's suitable and what's eligible. As a lender, lenders look at what eligibility. Financial advisors look at suitability. Liability advisors, we look at both suitability and eligibility. What's the right thing for you at the right time? So you look at it and you say, well, prices are going to probably flatten out next year. That's what the numbers right now, if history repeats itself, that's what the numbers are telling us. Prices are going to flatten out next year. Not going to go down. We don't see that yet, but they're going to flatten out. Why? Because like I shared in the opening segment, the areas that have grown the most, yes, that would be Arizona, Idaho, Utah, and Nevada. They've had the biggest growth spurts. Well, now they're starting to see, they're already at 30% price reductions right now. That which goes up rapidly can go down rapidly. If you're in one of those states, what's my recommendation? Take your equity out of the property right now. Get as much equity out of the property as you can. Why? You say, Ron, I'm going to be upside down. Who cares? You're not taking that money to go on vacation. You're taking that money to have it in a safe, secure investment right now, short term. And when interest rates drop, which they probably will, they usually do in a recession, when interest rates drop, now you're going to go out and you're going to restructure that loan to a lower interest rate, but you've still got all that cash on the sidelines. What do you do with that cash? Well, the people that don't listen to Ron Siegel Radio and they didn't listen now, and they need a bigger house, they need a smaller house, they got a job relocation. Well, you're going to have cash to buy properties and buy more real estate because you have a game plan. That's why we say there's a big difference between being a lender and a liability advisor. Why? Because as a liability advisor, we can help you have a safe, secure retirement. If you're a young person, you can do that sooner than later because you're using the market when the market is there. If you're going to be able to borrow right now, what I think I said the conforming rate was 5.4%, I can show you where there's places, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'd have to put you in touch with the right people, but they're getting 8, 9, 10% return on some very safe investments right now, and then you buy real estate next year. Now, if you don't own real estate next year, buy it now because we're still seeing a 10% appreciation for the current year. It's next year that we think will be a little bit flatter. And when you've got a flat environment, there's still those distressed sales, probates, and divorce. And if you have liquidity, if you have cash for the down payment, you might be able to say, hey, Ron, remember last year we did that cash out refi and I put $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in a safe environment that I can get my money at? Yeah, I remember that. Well, I just came across a property that's a divorce situation, and I can buy that using the seller's unfair advantage. I'll give them a little bit more than the market amount, but we're going to use that seller's unfair advantage to make an advantage for the buyer and lower their payment. Sellers want the big number. Sellers are looking for that sale price of that $700,000 house, $500,000 house, $1 million house, whatever the number is. Sellers care about that 6 or 7 digit number. Buyers are concerned about the 4-digit number. That would be the payment. And if we can show you how to get that payment down, instead of the rate that I told you, 5.43 according to OBMMI, what if you can get that down to 4.43? Would that make you a happier camper? Well, that's the unfair advantage that we talk about. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. If you want more information on that, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. When we come back, sellers have an opportunity as home prices reaccelerate. We'll talk about that. 2 common mistakes made by divorcing homeowners during divorce. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Be able to get the value of your current property, 4 different sources telling you what it's worth. We're going to also give you right on there your own no advertising and no obligation home shopping tool. You can find out about 97% of the country is covered. You can find out what properties are available right now. And if you register in there, you'll also be able to tell what's coming to market. Sellers have an opportunity as home prices reaccelerate. As mortgage rates started to rise this year, many homeowners began to wonder if their value of their homes would fall. Here's the good news. Historically, when mortgage rates rise by a percentage or more, home values continue to appreciate. That's the fear of missing out. The latest data on home prices seems to confirm that trend. Remember, I told you before, wait a year. That's where it's a 1-year trailing indicator. According to data from CoreLogic, home price appreciation has been reaccelerating since November. Sharing a chart with you if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, or any of our socials. We've got a graph of the increase in home price appreciation. So we flattened out in August. We were all right around 18%. July, August, September, October. November went up to 18.1, December 18.5, January 19.1, February 20, and March 20.9% appreciation, largely due to an ongoing imbalance in supply and demand. Specifically, housing supply is still low and demand is high. As mortgage rates started to rise this year, many home buyers rushed to make their purchases before those rates could climb higher. The increased competition drove home prices up even more. Selma Hepp, Deputy Chief Economist at CoreLogic, explains, quote, home price growth continued to gain speed in early spring as eager buyers tried to get in front of the mortgage rate surge. And experts say prices are forecast to continue appreciating just at a more moderate pace moving forward. Recent article from Fortune says, quote, the swift move up in mortgage rates does not mean home prices are about to crash. In fact, every major real estate firm with a publicly released forecast model still predicts home prices will climb further this year. What this means for you, if you're thinking about selling your house, you should know you have a great opportunity to list your home and capitalize on today's home price appreciation. As prices rise, so does the value of your home, which gives your equity a big boost. When you sell, you can use that equity toward the purchase of your next home. At today's record level of appreciation, that equity may be enough to cover some, if not all, of your down payment. Bottom line, history shows rising mortgage rates have not had a negative impact on home prices. Now is still a great time to sell your house thanks to ongoing price appreciation. When you're ready to find out how much equity you have in your current home and what's happening with home prices in your local area, let's chat. And oh, by the way, if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you to have them call us? 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Better Outcome segment today being brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Two common mistakes made by divorcing homeowners during divorce. One of the biggest decisions divorcing homeowners face is what to do with the marital home and real property. Trying to agree on how to handle the mortgage in the home can be a challenge without proper direction from a certified divorce lending professional. That's a CDLP. The options available depend on a number of factors, such as how the property was refinanced and how ownership is currently held. Additional factors to take into consideration include the disposition of property, the amount of equity available in the property, and the income sources available for the borrowing spouse. There are many common mistakes made during divorce when working with a mortgage professional who does not fully understand the implications of divorce and the opportunities to help the divorcing homeowners with their mortgage financing. Two of the more common mistakes made are, number one, if the couple has equity in the home, the spouse keeping the house should apply for a cash-out refinance to pay their ex-spouse their share. It may mean doing a cash-out refinance first to get part of the money to the existing spouse, then following that up with a home equity loan to get the remaining money due to the exiting spouse, unquote. Mortgage underwriting guidelines allow for a better solution. When a CDLP works with the divorce team and the divorcing couple, specific verbiage can be used in the marital settlement agreement, which will classify the refinance as an equity buyout rate and term refinance. The benefit is access to more equity in the home, which is usually capped at 80% loan to value with a cash out refinance, better financing terms, and are usually available in this situation. There may be title seasoning requirements for the borrowing spouse. However, the CDLP can identify this concern when vetting the marital home. Mistake number two, quote, leaving the vacating spouse's name on the existing mortgage will affect the ability of the non-resident spouse to qualify for future mortgage financing because the existing mortgage payment will be included in the spouse's debt-to-income ratio if they remain on the current mortgage. Again, working with a CDLP may change the game here as well. When the marital settlement agreement assigns the responsibility of paying an existing debt, the debt is classified as a court-ordered assignment of debt. For mortgage financing requirements, this may allow for the debt to be omitted from the borrower's debt-to-income ratio, helping them to qualify for a new mortgage in their name only while remaining on the existing mortgage to the marital home. Before making any decisions regarding the marital home and mortgage financing opportunities, you're encouraged to build the right team. A strong divorce team will include players such as the divorce attorney, financial planner, and certified lending professional. you have questions about how divorce may impact your ability to obtain mortgage financing? A certified divorce lending professional's knowledge and experience can help make the transition much smoother and more successful for all parties involved. The CDLP brings tremendous value to the divorce team during the settlement process. Their background knowledge of family law, financial and tax planning, real property, and mortgage financing allows us to better support and assist the divorcing homeowners. Make sure you got to get a copy of the Divorce Your Mortgage Workbook. We have it available to you, mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com. It's a guide to credit, real estate, and mortgage financing after divorce. This workbook will help you get organized, be prepared, and understand your mortgage financing position, whether you are needing to refinance the marital home in an equity buyout situation or prepare to sell and purchase a new home post-divorce. Now, I'm not going to give you legal advice. Our team won't give you legal advice. We don't give you tax advice. That's for the lawyers and the tax professionals or CPAs. We don't do that. But if you complete the Divorce Your Mortgage Homeowner Workbook, mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com. If you complete that, send it back to us. We're then able to put together a report for you, and that report will give you a lot of ideas. It'll give your attorney ideas and knowledge based on our understanding, a little bit of family law, a little bit of tax, lots of real estate, and lots of mortgage underwriting guidelines. So, and a lot of those folks, I don't profess to be a lawyer, but have a good understanding of the intersection of law, real estate, and mortgage financing and tax. So you get that intersection, and it lets us highlight issues that you're going to want, that the divorcing attorney is going to want, or the divorce attorney, that's the information they're going to want to use as part of the agreement. Why do we do this? Well, it's not for the better, for the ability of one party in the divorce or the other to get the upper hand on the other party. No, that's not why we're doing it. The reason we're doing it, the reason we're giving you that information is we want you to have all the opportunity, because for some reason you got married. I don't know what that reason was, but for some reason you got married. Don't smile at that, Josh. I get it. I'm not that old, right? So for some reason you got married. You don't have to want to stab the other one in divorce. You're both going to have to live your lives going forward. So the idea here is, if you can solve some of the financial stress by having this workbook completed and the report that it helps generate, then one of the items of stress, one of the items of contradiction, one of the items that many people are going to fight over is going to be resolved in the entire process, or have some clarity. It might not be resolved, but it'll have some clarity. And maybe you can both come up with a better outcome as you move forward. Just a thought for you. That's the Better Outcome segment, brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. As always, I thank you and ask you set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.